there's a message that Anand sent to Erigaisi, like to congratulate him. And I wasn't aware of this fact, but I think he gained something like 60 points very quickly. 60.
Oof.
At that level. Chess, nonsense, and analysis.
Yes, Watu, here we are again. What are we looking at today?
Well, we are looking here at one young man who actually I was following very much because, you know, there were chances for him to on other days as well to reach 2,800. And it's a big thing because I think he's the 16th player, if I'm got my facts right, plus minus, who's ever reached 2,800. But I know for sure he's the second Indian player after Vishwanathan Anand, the legend, obviously.
A very exclusive club.
Yeah, of course. I mean, definitely something special, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think for me, I'm hoping that he will get more invites to top tournaments after this. And yeah, he's a very, very incredible player. But yeah, but you know, in this tournament, I was sort of following. It's the European Club Cup, and you know, basically team event, and they were following. Everyone was hoping that because there was a chance for him and Gukesh to reach 2,800, and but then you know, he started getting the wins, and actually I think the round before this one we're gonna look at, he was playing against Predke.
Yeah,
and he drew the game against Predke, so he lost a little bit of points, 1 point something, I think. And then, but now in this game, he beats Andrekin and he jumps over. So I think his rating is now 2802. What an achievement. Yeah.
Yeah, 2802 or 2801, I'm not sure, but yeah, he's there. He's there.
I think I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to put up the live rating for everyone to see over there. So yes, interesting stuff. Yeah. Of course, the Indians are just continuing with the momentum right from the Olympiad. So
yeah, let's
jump over to the board and let's have a look at this game that pushed Erigaisi over to 2800. Okay, 2802 you say. So let's see. He's got the white pieces against Andreiken, very experienced Russian grandmaster.
Absolutely.
Let's have a look at the opening. So we have a Karo Khan, probably one of the most popular openings nowadays, Watu. We have an advanced variation, early c5, interesting. And both players go down kind of like the popular path here. This a3 move popular, planning on playing b4. I didn't see this f6 move I don't know if I've seen it at this moment, but it's I think you mentioned it, Watu. It's all about just surprising your opponent nowadays with the computer age. These guys have looked at everything. So the earlier the better.
I think the level of preparation is amongst these young professional players is the level is so high, in a sense that if you are going to go into a line, you know, or you repeat a game that was played, you really have to bring your own flavor to it, almost, right? And if you don't have anything, then you should try to get out as early as possible. And I think that is more or less the case with Andreiken. Of course, it will still be preparation from his side, but I think he will. But most probably, Erigaisi will have looked at it as well, but maybe not as deeply as the other lines, you see. So
exactly.
At least then there can be a game. No?
Yeah. No, I fully agree there. Well said there, Watu, because I think probably f6 is still in Erigaisi's radar somehow, I think. But let's see. b4, bishop e7, bishop b2. 97,
Yeah,
bishop
and
d3.
look, for me here, it starts to be a little bit weird in a sense that, I mean, if we go back from, so bishop e7, bishop b2, and right here, normally I think you start to see I think the effect of the preparation, because before even worrying about developing too much, black plays here a5, right?
Yeah.
And okay, b5 makes sense, and knight d7. So now we are already starting to see, the knight has got the c5 square. Maybe the bishop can also go to c5. There's pressure on e5. So yeah, there's a lot happening, and a fantastic position, yeah. But
Full of possibilities,
full of
yes.
life. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
interesting way black is playing, yes, creating that c5 square.
Absolutely.
So white is trying to hold on to the e5 square for now. Bishop d3.
Yeah.
Knight h6.
Another very interesting move.
Yep. Knight maybe going to f7 at some point. Still fighting for the e5 square.
Yeah.
Castle. And c4. C4 is quite a typical move whenever black plays or pushes the f pawn, because it's diagonal, could at some point be sensitive.
I think the white squares are a little bit of a problem or could be a problem for black.
Yeah.
And black has to be extra careful, extra vigilant, so, but decides to play then f5.
Yes. So knight f7. Continue the fight, right, for the e5 square. White takes, and black takes on e5. Takes, and knight c3.
Yeah.
Okay. Captures and captures. Of course, black can capture on d5 because of the pin.
Bishop c4, yeah.
Bishop c5. Black wants to hold on to the bishop pair for now. Castle to protect f2. Bishop e6. And knight to e3. And here comes an interesting moment, Watu. Okay, white obviously didn't want to retreat with his knight. But he did. And I can imagine white maybe aiming for either bishop c4 to trade off one of the bishops, or even posting the bishop on an aggressive square on e4. Yes. So white, it seems like white is still fighting on the light squares, right?
Yeah. Like looking at the position, I'm because I think that I don't expect someone with Andrekin's level to not to have missed queen h5. So he sees queen h5, but I think it's a question of finding counterplay for himself. Because if you think about it, it's not so easy to see how white's play seems to be slightly now more easier, isn't it? I mean, I'll play some rook d1, bishop c4,
yes,
right? And then your pawn on e4 is weak. I try to blockade the pawn, put something maybe on e4, play king h1, play f3, and I'm better slightly, and I can play 100 moves. But it's not it's not clear what black is going to do.
Yeah, you're quite right.
I think that to me, in my mind, it seems like Andrekin sees this idea of queen. Of course, he sees it, but he decides that he's going to get to have something to play for. He's going to have some play, and it's a big decision that he makes, and it's a very risky decision. And but it's the type of decision that you want to see, isn't it? He makes a game out of it.
Yeah, and the decision that what is talking about, viewers, is bishop to d4. So Engine gives it a bit of a inaccuracy sign over there, because it allows, of course, queen h5. Now, if you think about it, king h8 is the Engine's recommendation, I believe. And this one, of course, doesn't allow queen h5, since the bishop is still being monitored over there, right? So we have some interesting moves after that, but okay, this is a completely different game. Yeah, black goes into the complications, plays bishop d4, queen h5. How do you stop this? Black goes g6. H6. Do we just continue to crawl in?
Queen g6, yeah.
Continue, right?
White can just crawl in, because queen g6 immediately attacks the bishop on e6. and it just looks very dangerous for.
You don't want to
Yeah.
see this as black, right?
No, no, no. It's
But
too
he goes
much.
g6.
Yeah,
The white captures here.
yeah.
And okay, just a question now. If black had captured, does white have anything more than, oh, and e6 is just hanging, right? Keep on
With
mossing
check,
e6 is hanging, yeah.
with
Okay.
check, because
Ooh,
I will play queen h6 check first, isn't it? And then take on e6 with check.
yes.
Then I'm just
Okay,
winning.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so, but it seems like Andrejken had this one. He was ready for this because he just played queen e7.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
Yeah,
it's like if you think about it, let's have a look at. Okay, I don't know what the computer evaluation and so on,
yeah,
but what I'm trying to say is that from what we know from classical games, if you think about a Benko gambit, right? Say where you sacrifice a pawn with b5, then a6, where you open up lines and diagonals. Yeah, black is doing the same here. If you think about it, I mean, rook f4 comes with a tempo. We can play afterwards. The rook can go to f8, king can go to h8, rook can go to g8, rook threatens to go to h4. The king is there, pieces are on the side, the bishop on d4 is very strong on the diagonal. I mean, there is some justification to go for this. Black sacrifices a pawn, but gets incredible activity. And what is more important, white must defend very, very accurately.
yeah.
Because there's this wave of attack that's coming. Right? So very interesting position.
Yeah,
Mhm.
nicely. You painted a nice picture there, Watu. So we actually see the pressure that white has to deal with. Just interesting. Also, black is not even interested in this rook over here, right? Because the bishop is so powerful, holding everything together at the same time.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
he hits the bishop with tempo. Bishop d5. Pressure continues. Finally, white moves the rook. King h8. And we see a complicated game. And I
Look,
think, yeah,
for
you were
me,
saying,
sorry, Calvin.
yeah,
For me, the decision is classy. I mean, here, it's not so obvious. I mean, to play Bishop d5, it's not the most obvious decision in the world because the point is that you would think that the Bishop on d4 is more important in terms of at least Black's attack, isn't it? I mean, Black's attack is going to improve and gain momentum because of that Bishop on d4. And
yes,
Erigaisi decides to exchange the Bishop on e6. It's a very interesting decision, and but I think it just shows his form and his talent. I mean, he evaluates that the bishop on e6 is also important
yeah.
for some, right? For it's
Or
also a very
something
important.
later on, right, for black.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm struggling to find an alternative for white, though. Yeah, it's not so obvious what to do with the bishop. But yeah, of course, you want to get rid of the bishop here. I don't know if that's any huge factor in the long run.
yeah. I guess you are right in a sense that I mean, there's also this rook h4. Like you cannot play. I mean, your rook is hanging, and you can't just do nothing, right?
Hmm.
So it's a very complicated position.
Yeah,
So he decides to play bishop
bishop
d5. Yeah.
d5. Yes,
Mhm.
he's trying to keep things calm, right? Get some pieces off the board. Rook e1, king h8,
Yes.
g3. Takes. And yeah, white is just on the defense right now. Rook e2,
Yes.
b6. And knight c2 challenging this strong bishop. Bishop b2.
The computer doesn't like that move.
Yeah, but also just from the naked eye, yeah. Oh, but bishop c5 is not so obvious, right? Because the pawn
Well,
is
is e5 are going to take on f2? Like if
f2
you
is
play rook
also.
takes e5, is it going to be rook takes f2? I guess.
Ooh,
Rook takes f2.
rook takes f2. Yeah.
Well, I cannot make sense of any other thing.
Yeah,
And
because
then
it's so logical to keep the bishop on this diagonal, right?
exactly,
So not
he must have
sure.
cut and not liked something. But I mean, let's. I mean, bishop c5.
Bishop c5.
Uh,
What else
rook
can white
takes.
do?
Oh,
Why is he so passive here? I mean, what else does he do if he doesn't take
yeah,
king h1? No, king g2. I don't
king.
know what to do.
Very difficult.
Very difficult
King
position for white
h1.
here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see a computer move. After rook takes e5, the computer move is queen c4. Amazing.
Wait, rook e5. Oh, queen c4.
It's a computer move, yeah. Wow. Attacks c2. And and puts pressure on f2, of course.
Knight e3.
So what happens if knight e3? What's the deal? Then just queen takes b5. This is very complicated, yeah. These moves are very difficult to find, I must admit. Yeah. It's not, because black still has this initiative, so both players must have evaluated this position, and it's not easy to evaluate, I must admit.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Even knight g4 is possible, and so on. It's difficult to play this as black here. Black does have 3.5 minutes here versus Erigaisi's 24 minutes. So
it plays a role, eh? Yeah.
So he goes bishop b2 to hold on to the e5 pawn.
Right.
Erigaisi drops back to h4. Plays a4.
Defend everything. Rook f4 is an interesting try.
Goes queen h6. So the engine doesn't like this one too much. Queen h5 apparently was best. Queen c4. Queen h5 protecting. And okay, yeah, I mean, it's everything is starting to hang here.
Yeah.
Okay, so he finds knight to e3.
This is such a complicated position. Look at that knight e3. I mean, this is just amazing stuff.
Hitting that and forcing some trades, right?
Yeah, and because the bishop on b2 is hanging. I mean, this
also
is brilliant.
Oof. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
So much tension in the position.
Yeah.
Almost anything can get captured here, except the rook on f1. Every single piece can get captured.
Everything is hanging. It's unbelievable.
So knight e3, amazing. Takes, and after all of this complication, we find ourselves in the rook endgame.
Right. Well, at least finally we can get to a position where we can understand what's more or less happening.
Yes.
In the position before, it was just wild, but it's typical Erigaisi style. It's an Erigaisi style, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
that.
Yeah, I think Klaasen jokingly said he called him the madman. Not in a bad way, but in terms of the complications it creates on the board, right?
Yes, I think it was more of a compliment than anything.
Yeah, of course. So he's able to do this, and he strives, it seems, on complications. But I must admit, even though Andrekin is down with time, but I feel that the way he misplaced the position, especially from a Russian super grandmaster, it's a bit strange to me. But the interesting phenomenon about this, Kelvin, is that if you think about all the strong players, whenever they play, there's some psychological pressure they put on the opponent. That is something that is a little bit hidden about chess. When someone is on form, it was always happening with Fischer. You remember, if you look at his games, it looks like his opponents were playing slightly worse than against him.
Yes.
It's just because, you've got this guy who's putting this psychological pressure on you because he's playing for a win with any color, in any position, in any circumstance. He's not easy to handle, and I think Andrekin feels this. He feels that Erigaisi is just playing for a win, wants to win the position, and he's
doesn't matter what it looks like. Yeah.
But if we're to analyze this position, I mean, what we know from rook end games, activity is important, right? It plays a very important role. And the black king now is quite weak. So we're expecting that the king is going to be attacked. So either way, black must set up a way to defend the king first.
Yeah, it's quite obvious if you paint this picture here, right? This is...
Yeah.
White's got 3 pawns in front of his king, super safe, and this guy's got 1.
Exactly.
Too much air.
Too much. And the problem is that the black rooks, because remember, they weren't very active. Although they are active, but now they are not doing a good defense.
They're not coordinating. Yeah.
They're not coordinating and they're not defending. So you need to bring them back. So
White played rook c2 over here.
yes. So rook c2 comes, which is logical, taking control of the c5.
Just
Now you
abandoning the
would have
b5 pawn, it seems, but he's got activity in mind, right?
activity in mind. He's got like to play, let's say rook d1 or something like this, and then imagine rook d1, rook d7, rook c8 is checkmate, isn't it?
So
So you have to react.
And here's where Andre can kind of reacts wrong or badly here. I mean, okay, it's been maybe a strenuous game. He's again down to less than 4 minutes. Few
Yeah.
moves before the time control is reached, and he goes e4 and he kind of goes for the bait.
Yes.
Somehow he goes for the bait, which is a bit unbelievable. But
It is.
considering the context, right, that you just explained to us, and also things that we are not seeing right now, like the pressure, the time, the momentum, everything. So,
Yes.
so rook d1 was played, and black
Yeah,
just
now
continues.
all of a sudden, look at the black king. It's got no one. It's got no defender.
Yeah. So rook c7 threatening mate on rook on d8.
Checkmate in one. Yeah.
Rook g5 comes back. Maybe he thought he could just come back and block, but h4 check. And of course, we're not going to trade, and we just double up on the 7th.
Yeah. But I
horrible.
think now it dawns on him that he's lost because
Yeah.
these positions are known. Because I mean, I will take on h7, push my pawn to. So my idea is very simple. I want to take on h7, push my pawn to h6, then play with the other rook g7 check, and then rook h8 checkmate. That's my main idea, right?
Yeah.
And you cannot stop it really.
Rook c4, he needed to stop the immediate mate, of course.
Yes.
Another mate threat.
Mm-hmm.
You.
Mm-hmm. And there comes the h4.
Yeah. The rook is just running out of squares on the g file, right? He needs to play rook g8 to stop mate.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's set up.
And just the pawn reached h7 so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it was
it's over.
Very badly defended by Andreakin. And unfortunately for him. But yeah, good for us as chess fans because we see a player reach 2-8.
This is live. Are there any games left? What does Erigaisi have to do to?
I think I'm not sure if there's another game coming. I'm actually not sure. I was just really just focusing on the idea of 2-8. You know,
push him over 2-8 on the live ratings, right? So fantastic.
Yeah,
either way, great achievement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, from a historic point of view, I think it's excellent, and on the context of India being a superpower now, it's also very important. You know, we've got a player of 2,800. We've got another player who's going to play in a month's time the World Championship. And
I think India's ticking all the boxes, basically. So, yeah, guy's not even playing for the world title, but he reached 2-8. So, yeah. Yeah, well done to Erigaisi. Interesting stuff. And I think Watu, this is probably the way you're going to reach 2-8. You have to inject some risk somewhere in your game, right? You're not going to reach 2-8 at this age so quickly if you don't inject the risk, right?
You know, but I was reading the stuff. I read on Facebook. There's a message that Anand sent to Erigaisi, like to congratulate him. And I wasn't aware of this fact, but I think he gained something like 60 points very quickly. 60.
Oof.
At that level. And remember, this, and these 60 points he gains actually in open tournaments, more or less. He's not gaining it in closed tournaments.
Wow.
So but I think, you know, I was impressed with his style because I was following in terms of the Olympiad, you know, because he seems to be the one player who, even with the black pieces, I mean, anybody under 2,700, he is able to put so much pressure on them, even with black. his choice of openings and how he plays. He's a very, very interesting player.
Yeah.
But I think, of course, for me, look, there has been, I'm not talking about 2,800, but there has been players who have gotten a huge rating from open events, but then they find it difficult to make the adjustment at the highest level. So sometimes so he has to. We'll have to see what his idea is. Is he going to try to solidify? Is he still going to play this type of chess at the highest level
In the
and
closed
try to
events or
maintain
what?
it?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
In these closed events, that is most likely going
In
to get
the
invited
closed
now, right?
events,
Yeah.
in the closed events, is it going to now be solid, or is it going to now go
Continue.
for?
Yeah.
I don't know. We will see. That's his decision. Yeah.
Should be interesting to see, but yeah. I think that's it for Erigaisi today. Watu, I think instructive game and a
Yeah.
big moment for Erigaisi and India. Is that
Yeah.
enough
And
nonsense for today?
that's enough nonsense for today. And yeah, congratulations again to Ergaisi and to India. They just keep producing, and doing very well. So yeah, congrats to them.
Congratulations. Yes, yes, indeed. So, viewers, if you liked what you've seen, don't forget to press the like and the share button. And do us a favor and press that subscribe button. And we'll see you for the next one. Cheers.